I can confidently say with almost zero reservation that you need a website and you need it right now. That may sound like something you would hear at the beginning of an advertisement, but I promise you, this video is going to do you a huge favor. Many of you watching this video may already have a website, and that's awesome. But even if you have a website, you might not be using it to the fullest of its potential. In this video, I do want to cover all of these different ways, or at least some of the really valuable ways that you can use a website to help benefit you no matter what you're using it for. Now, again, I made a bold claim at the beginning of this video that you need a website. I don't care who you share this video with. If you share this video with your grandmother, she probably needs a website in today's world. And in order to help validate that claim, I'm gonna answer the 5 W's and the bonus question, which we all know is how, right? Who, what, when, where, why, how. All right, so let's get started. Who needs a website? The reason I feel so confident saying that you probably need a website is because I can, right off the top of my head, in a matter of literally a few seconds, I came up with a decent list of different groups of people who absolutely need a website. And this doesn't even include the many other people who don't fall in any of these categories who probably would still benefit substantially from having one. So first group, business owners. Now, you might think, okay, well, yeah, of course, businesses should have websites. And you might be surprised to find out how many of them don't, because it feels like something that's either really expensive or really hard. And so they just don't go about doing it. But when I talk about business owners, I'm talking about all types of business owners. I'm including people that have a little side hustle. No matter what you're doing as a side hustle, you would benefit from having a real presence on the web that you own. So even if you're just getting products and selling them through Amazon, literally fulfilled by Amazon, you're ordering them from overseas and sending them to Amazon and shipping them out. Now, you have a seller profile on Amazon, great, but that's your only web presence. What if instead of just a seller profile, you turned that into a brand? You created a website with that brand name and you established something about yourself, the specific types of products that you're looking for, what it is that you have to offer. Think about the biggest names that you're up against on Amazon as a seller and go check them out. How much of an online presence do they have? They've probably built out their presence on Amazon, but there's a good chance that they also have their own website. And if they don't, well, that's an opportunity now for you to one-up them. Another example of this that absolutely you should have a website. If you have a rental property, we live in the day of short-term rentals. People are making a lot of money with their Airbnbs, right? If you own an Airbnb, what if you had your own website also? List that home on Airbnb, of course, because Airbnb is gonna bring you a whole bunch of traffic. But what if you also had that same information and maybe more on your own website? When someone comes to stay at your property, what if you have information for them right there so that they can leave you a review on Google in addition to Airbnb? And what if they can bookmark your website? You help make it easy for them to find where your website is. And then next time they're coming through the same area, they can just book straight through you. What percentage is Airbnb taking of the listing fee? And they're charging all sorts of other fees that I found out from some friends of mine that you might not even know about. As the owner of the house, you can control that a lot more by trying to steer those people through your website as often as possible, but then of course continuing to use Airbnb, VRBO, and any of those other services in the way they're intended, and the real value that they have, which is bringing people to your home in the first place. Again, talking to a friend of mine, I was amazed to see how many vacation rentals exist in various places all around the world that not only don't have a website, but they aren't even listed on Airbnb. You literally would only find them, it seems, if you were driving through the area or knew somebody who knew about these properties. That's crazy. You can have a website. I'm gonna show you very easily in this video, by the way, how we're gonna set it up. That's the how part. But also, if that's something where you're like, I don't have time for this, that's something that we're offering here as well at Income School. So I can set up an Airbnb listing for you, like your own website with its own domain. Like if your house is called like The Cozy Abode, I can get you thecozyabode.com or something very similar to it. And we can get your website up and running, and we can do it fast and pretty dang cheap, because it's really not that complicated. I'm gonna show you at the end. You're gonna be like, why are people paying so much for websites? The next group of people who need a website, YouTubers. If you're on YouTube, you have a YouTube channel and you're like trying to make money or something, or even just trying to get famous, you should have a website. Now, why? Well, that's another W question. We're still on who. Okay, let's move on then. What about athletes, actors, and artists? Really anybody that has a portfolio of content or information that other people would want to see. That includes artists is a huge group, right? Photographers, musicians, composers of music and anything else, I guess. Podcasters. You should have a website so that you can showcase the work that you're doing. Now, a lot of people are going to set up their website using one of these very simple drag and drop builders. And for a portfolio site, you can probably get away with that okay, but you can do so much more by doing what I'm about to show you. Okay, as a little aside here, I was talking to some other friends the other day who are parents and they have high school age children. And it is amazing to me. Things have changed so much since I went to high school. But we're athletes who are trying to get recruited, especially by like Division I schools. You like have to put together a very professional package of information to hand off to potential recruiters. Otherwise, you like don't even have a shot. So you're putting together your highlight reel and you're putting together a bunch of stats and just information about you and all sorts of stuff that you're putting into kind of a portfolio to hand off to them. What if it was a website? Then it would be something that they could easily find and that you could easily send them to, and it would make you look super dope. All right, the last group of people I'm gonna mention here is what about people who are seeking a career? If you're looking for a job, yes, you can have LinkedIn, but what if you had your own website that could showcase a lot more than what you're gonna show on a resume, but also even more than what you can show on LinkedIn? Yes, the social media is great. It is designed for networking, but on a website, you have complete flexibility to include all sorts of video content, all sorts of written content, and to just showcase everything that you want. If you're seeking a job working for a company, put together your portfolio, put together all of the information that you want to make available, and that could be the thing that really makes you stand out. So we've covered who, right? So let's move on to question number 2. Question number 2 is what? What do we need? Answer it with me. A website. The what is a website? We can move on to question 3. When? When do we need a website? Answer it with me. Now. We need a website now. We live in a day and an age where information is just, there's so much of it, right? And if your information is not available, or for whatever it is that you're trying to share with the world, again, we just went through a ton of examples. If it's not readily available to share, or they could even find it if they were to go search for it on the internet, if it's not available, it might never get found. Okay, so now let's move on to the next question, which is where? Where? Well, I'm gonna build it with Cloudways. Now, Cloudways is actually the sponsor of this video, and you might think, I'm just sharing all this information with you because they're sponsoring it, so they told me I had to. Actually, no, I haven't run the idea for this video by them at all yet, but they're sponsoring it anyway. And the reason that I'm working with Cloudways is because they are who I use to host websites. 100% of the websites that I own and build for myself and for clients, I do on Cloudways. We'll talk more about Cloudways and the how behind it when we get to that question. Okay, now we gotta talk briefly about the why. I've touched on this a bit, that your information needs to be out there and available and yada, yada, yada. But there are some very specific benefits that you get by having your own website versus just having your information available on other social media platforms. The first one is a higher level of credibility. On one hand, like, I definitely trust a photographer that has their own website where on that website, they can showcase the portfolio of the work they've done, a whole bunch of work. Gosh, that's great to see. I can see if their style is a good fit for me. But also, a lot of times it's really handy if I can also interact with that photographer through the website. It's through their website that they're able to provide me with the photos that they took. Oftentimes utilizing a third-party service, but it's kind of managed through their website, and so it puts it all in one place. It can be through their website that I pay them. It feels substantially more professional and therefore more valuable versus someone who just does photography out of the back of their car and is like, here, just Venmo me this amount of money. It's just a higher level of professionalism that makes me feel like I'm being taken care of. So there's credibility, but there's another piece that goes beyond that. and that is search engine optimization. Let's say you have a local business and you're like, yeah, you know what though? I've joined a bunch of Facebook groups for businesses. I get word of mouth spread around. So I got a marketing agency working for me, and they even set up a Google My Business listing. So I'm showing up on Google Maps. Sure, I'm number 7 on Google Maps if you search from, like my block. But I mean, that's good enough, right? First of all, no, that's probably not good enough. You'll probably get some traffic from that. But second of all, you want to show up better, even as a Google business listing, have content associated with your business. When you have a website, not only can you feature a whole bunch of information about your business, but you can create content, written content, video content, all sorts of content that in and of itself can rank on Google for a lot of different search queries, a lot of questions people are typing into the internet, and that's going to help you rank for all of those. But all of those are also going to help strengthen your authority so that you rank better even on the map. And also for non-map related searches, just general searches for whatever service or business that you have in your area. On that local search, you need to have content. And you can't have content if you only have a Google business listing. At least you can't have very much content. And no, a social media profile isn't gonna do basically anything for you when it comes to that. The same is true for a portfolio. If you're an athlete trying to get recruited, if you're an artist, if you're an actor, having your portfolio available on your website makes it a lot easier to find for people rather than trying to get the search engine to help people find you through some sort of other social media platform, or even through maybe there's an agency doing this for you and you just have a listing on your agency's website. Again, your own website boosts you up that much more from a search engine optimization standpoint. I mean, don't get me wrong. If you have your listing also with an agency, their website can rank well. It's just, you're just shuffled in amongst all of the other people with that agency. So have your own website in addition to that. Okay, the second reason, as if the first one wasn't enough, the second reason is that you can capture leads. So again, if you have a reason why you want people to see your stuff, to come to your content, whether you have a business or you're seeking a career, you can have your contact info, of course, on your website, but you can have that anywhere. But what you can also do is you can use forms to capture leads. You can get information from people so they can provide you their email address, maybe their phone number for SMS text messaging, and that gives you the chance to follow up with those people and try to do further interactions or business or whatever it is that you're trying to do. When people come to your website and they follow you there, you own that contact. When they follow you on social media, there's no guarantee that they're gonna see anything that you post going forward. Own your customer list. It's one of the most important things you can do in business. Own your customer list, and you can do that on your own website way better than you can on any platform. Okay, and then the next piece is that you can host all of your content, all of the information that you want in whatever format you want, so it doesn't have to fall within the box of LinkedIn or Nextdoor or any social media platform. You can have all the information that you need in the order that you prioritize it in. And then if you have anything to sell, you can sell your stuff right there on your own website, and you can do it way cheaper than when you use a third-party platform. Again, there's a lot of platforms out there for selling stuff, and some of them will even say, yeah, it's free. We're just gonna take a cut. It's Airbnb. You can list your house. It's totally fine. We just get to keep 15% or something like that. You're the one renting your house. You're the one making it available for them. You're the one that owned it and had to pay a mortgage for it. And they get to keep 15%? That's crazy. It's not crazy because they're doing your marketing for you. But if somebody wants to come stay at your home again for a second time, or if somebody finds you through a Google search instead of through an Airbnb search, you get to keep that money. Isn't that awesome? Okay, I briefly got to show you how we get started because this is so inexpensive and honestly, really quite easy. Now, this isn't going to be a super in-depth tutorial. We've already gone on for quite a while, but I want to show you at least the first steps to get started. So number one, you're going to click my link in either the description or I'll pin a comment in this video. By using my link, yes, it does support this channel, and I greatly thank you for that. Okay, but once you click that link, you're going to end up here on Cloudways, and we can just go ahead and get started. Now, check this out. Right now, they're running a promo, so you can get 30% off your first 4 months. And if you have a website hosted elsewhere, which I guess is kind of okay, but you want to move over to Cloudways because it's just awesome, you can migrate your website, 10 of them, for free. And these are migrations that they help you with. You can actually use their migration tool to do it yourself. as many times as you want. I do it all the time and it's actually really easy. But they'll help you with 10 of them, which is super cool. So you can click this button, upgrade now or whatever. Even if you're not with them, just click the upgrade now. And what that's gonna do is it's gonna apply the coupon code, so you automatically get this awesome deal. Then we're just gonna put in some information. So I click start now, and I'm gonna go with DigitalOcean's good, Vultre's good, and they're both really affordable, okay? Now, when you're just getting started and you're building up this site from the very beginning, go ahead and go to the smallest size server that you can. Save the money. And then the cool thing is, with Cloudways, I can upgrade the size of my server as needed. So you never need to pay more than you need to. With a lot of hosting for websites, they're gonna do what's called shared hosting, and you're gonna pay a certain amount for your first website, but then as soon as you hit a certain traffic level, they're like, oh, we gotta upgrade you. So now it's gonna go from $3 a month to $25 a month. And the next thing you know, it's $100 a month. You're never gonna get that kind of stuff with Cloudways. Okay, the one thing I am gonna do though is choose a high frequency. That's just a server it's better. It's gonna be faster and it doesn't cost much more. And by much, I think it's like an extra $1 a month. Then I choose the location. So this is $16 a month. I choose a location. Now I wanna choose a location that's reasonably close to me, because that way my interaction with that server will happen as quickly as possible. Then we're gonna use another tool later on that's called a CDN that's essentially going to spread out the hosting of this website all around the world. So that way people that are accessing the website can access it from a server that's relatively close to them. It's super cool. Now, if you wanna save as much as possible, DigitalOcean does have an option, the 1 gigabyte. If you're gonna do this, I would go with the 1 gigabyte premium. It's a couple dollars a month cheaper, but Vultre's awesome. Now, what we're gonna do is we're gonna install WordPress. And so what type of website do we want? It's gonna be WordPress. It's just the latest version. And then I name it. I can name the server that I'm putting it on. And here's the cool thing. We set up this server, but if we want to, we could actually add a second, third, as many websites as you want to the same server. And then again, it's just only once we're using all of the resources, only then do we need to upgrade to the next tier. And the tiers are much closer together again than what we normally get with shared hosting. Okay, so we're gonna name it, we'll just leave this your server project. Now this is just for your organization. And so you don't even need to worry about it if you don't want to. You can create a project if you want, but all right. So like I said, high frequency, we're gonna start with 1 gigabyte, Seattle. And now there's one step I need to do before I can actually click this launch button, and that is to go verify my email. So I'm gonna go check my email, click a verification code, and then we'll be right back. Here's the email, I click login and activate, and then I can launch it. Now this is one of my favorite things about Cloudways. I can do this for free. I haven't even given them any payment info yet. For the next 3 days, I can work on building my website for free before I even have to decide if I even wanna pay for it. Pretty awesome. So I'm gonna launch it for free. Now we have a website set up. Now there's more steps obviously because we haven't put any content on it. This is gonna take a few minutes. It's gonna do its thing. And then we need to start designing and building out this website. Now I have another video where I walk through all of this. I even walked through these steps we just saw in more detail. And so I'm gonna go ahead and put that video here for you to watch if you wanna go build your website right now. Because when do we need a website? Now, that's right. So go create your website and you can thank me later. And I'll just say it right now. You're welcome. Welcome.